Obviously, we're heading down the stretch here as a football team, and when you do that, there's a lot of evaluation going on in a lot of different positions. As I said earlier, when I took this job, I wanted to make it a competitive environment, and I think that is taking place now with the influx of new players that we were able to obtain after spring football, and it's showing up. It really is. We have some young guys, some guys from the JC level, as well as some double transfers that have done a nice job of establishing themselves and for playing time. So, the roster's not set per se, who the starters are, who the backup guys are. I've always told players this. When you walk on the field, only 11 guys play. And when you walk on the field, you're a starter. That's how it works. I don't know how to say it any other way. So I think we're getting a lot of good work. I thought today was a good day in the fact that they felt some heat. Sun finally. They hadn't practiced in the sunlight in quite some time. We'll do that again tomorrow. As you guys know, they're on their school practice plan right now. We'll do it again tomorrow, and then Saturday we'll actually go at night, have somewhat of a game situation. Sunday we're going to try to make it like we would do during the season, basically for the next 2 weeks. Sunday they'll come in, they will stretch. The guys that do not participate so much in games, obviously they're going to participate in our offense and defense. That's where the developmental thing comes in for us. So we're going to treat it like the week of the game starting next week, so we can prepare ourselves mentally and obviously start playing the players that are going to help us, we feel, win games more than others.
So you'll cut down to that or narrow down your...
By next week.
Next week.
We'll get into a plan after Saturday. You'll see a more structured, practice. It'll be more against the other opponent rather than ourselves. We'll have I've always believed you still have to have one-on-ones. We'll have a competition period where you'll see our defense and our offense. And this is new to me in college football, is that the offense is on one field and the defense is on another field. That's kind of what they do. It's interesting. Where I've been, you don't do that. Everybody kind of practices together. It's just kind of. But that's what it is, and that's how college functions, and I'm fine with that. It's just going to be odd for me to kind of stand in the middle of the field and figure out, okay, I'm going to watch the offense in this period, I'm going to watch the defense in this period. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Why do you think that difference is? Well,
because I've always gone to a practice where it was the offensive period and the defense was the service team. I mean, our offense and our defense could go, our first string offense and our first string defense can practice at the same time. That doesn't happen in the world I lived in. Now, even when I was in college at San Jose State, we practiced ones against ones. So this is different, and I get it. And college functions fine this way. And I've got to adjust how I'm going to view practice. The great part about it is I obviously get the tape, but I'm going to have to pick my spots when I want to watch the offense, when I want to watch the defense. I know in certain periods that they collaborate as a staff as far as what they're going to do. I'll have my ready list, and I'll know exactly I'm going over there in this period because they're working on that. So I'm the one that has to adjust, not them.
Another function is squad size. You don't have scouts.
Yeah, we don't have 110 guys running around. You're right. We have 60. We got 60 guys.
You have a number of guys that are not really fully participating for one reason or another's, injuries.
Some due to resting.
Yeah.
I start resting players, guys that I feel that are ready to play, and I just, I told the team this, and I've always done this as a coach. I treat everyone fair. I don't treat everyone the same. And when it comes to practice reps, I got a pretty good idea where guys are at. That's what you do as a head coach. You watch it. And there's certain times you give a guy a blow. And some of the starters deserve it, the way they practice. And you need to get some young guys in there against the first. Sometimes you don't want to trade the whole unit. Sometimes you actually want to get a young player to go with the first group to see how he reacts. It's easy when you're going to the second group. But all of a sudden, now you walk in a huddle, and let's say you're a freshman, and you walk in the defensive huddle, and all these guys are seniors and juniors. You're like, ooh, I'm the only one in here. Yeah. How are you going to react? I mean, that happened to us yesterday. We had 4 freshmen that went out with the first group. We wanted to see how they were going to react. And I think you have to do that. I like doing that, so I think it's important.
Coach, what would you
powerful, athletic man can be a dominant player if he chooses to do so every down. And that's what I think he aspires to be. Sometimes he's so powerful that he'll get penetration and the player will run right by him. So I think for him, and I've talked to him about this, there's a standard of play that you want to live up to as a player, as an individual. I've always believed that it shouldn't be dictated by your opponent or how you feel that day when you come to practice or to work. That's just, I learned that from my father. Being in the Army, you're the master sergeant every day. You don't get a day off. And the way you do things, there's routine to it. And when you do it at a high level, you bring other people with you. And if they can't obviously function at that level, then you kind of figure out who they are. And I just think if you're an athlete or anyone in general, I just believe in you set a standard for your life and you try to meet those standards every day. When you fall short every once in a while, you will. But I've never been a person to need influenced by somebody else to set my standards. How I'm going to be as a man, how I'm going to coach, who I am. And so I just think if players can understand that, I think it helps them to be a better player. That was always my mindset as a player. In practice and in the game, I had a standard. I've said it to you folks before. In competition, the opponent was faceless. It didn't matter who it was. It's how I was going to play. And I set my standard, so it was never up or down. And I was going to play this way. And that's just, I think if you do it that way, you have a chance for success.
Do you think the 3-3-5 and the nose tackle, the way it operates compared to 4-4-3, really complements what Ronell Wren can bring to the table?
Yeah, but even in a 3-4, he'd be a good player. Even in what we ran in Tampa, and with the Jets in 4-3, he'd be the 3 technique. He'd be Sapp. I don't like to compare guys, but that's what Warren played. If I say Sapp, Warren Sapp, we know who he is. Yeah, he's a pretty good player. So, I'm not saying Wren's that guy, but I mean that's what he would play in the system. So I just think, he has a future. It's all on him now. The table's set. How is he going to play? And I think for him, he wants to play with consistency. I think that's what people are looking for. The scouts that I talk to, they say, Coach, and I say, well, he's in a system now would allow him to do some things, and hopefully it'll highlight what he does.
Early in practice, Herm, you had a pretty passionate discussion with the defense.
Yeah, with the DBs. I was trying to influence some confidence in them. It's a tough position, it really is, and I think you have to have a mindset when you come to practice every day that, hey, there's this standard we got to play at, and we got to meet it, and when we don't do it, we got to handle it within the group. Coach doesn't need to handle this anymore. They got to handle it. I've been fortunate to play in some great secondaries, to coach a bunch of them too, at all different levels. In college, I was at San Jose State, we had 3 or 4 guys that played pro football. So there's a mentality you have to have when you play back there, and I think anybody that's ever played in the secondary, they understand that. There's a certain edge you have every day you walk on the grass, and that was my edge. I had an edge about myself, and I didn't take anything for granted. You're one false step from being beat and being on the wrong side of a highlight film. You're just playing the secondary. You are the last line of defense. You can't make a mistake. If you make a mistake, you turn around, one thing is common, we receive. And you're on the wrong side of the highlight. And I lived my whole life that way. And I love it. I loved it. I did. Just every day. And I think you gotta understand that. You can't play like, oh, it's okay, I'm gonna get it right. No, you gotta get it right. And the more you make plays, the more confident you become. Look, we got some wideouts out there. I ain't gonna mention who they are. There's more than one. They're gonna play on Sunday. So if you're a secondary guy, you want to guard those guys. You want to play against those guys in practice. That's gonna make you better. So I just think that's got to be the mindset. And hopefully they understand it.
Herm, after Tyler Wiley's injury and then Jalen Harvey at Tillman, what do you think about that position as you kind of recalibrate there?
Yeah, well, there's still some people that we have there. Obviously, Langston,
Evan's been hurt too.
Yeah, but he's coming back.
Yeah.
So, we've got some guys with some veteran experience. Daz has played back there. So we're just trying to figure out what's the best combination of players at the back end and up front. There are some packages up front we're going to try to install defensively where we can rush the quarterback. We have some guys that have some talent that can rush the quarterback. And so we got to get them on the field. Now, it's hard in college football when people go low up, obviously. It's kind of tough. But if we can find a way to have certain packages every week for our opponent on defense, I think that's going to be to our advantage because of the speed we have. We have some speed that maybe we didn't have in the spring. Some guys that showed up all of a sudden. I don't want to mention their names yet because they're young guys, but we'll just have to wait and see. Every day I walk off the field, they keep showing up. If you keep showing up, eventually you need to go show up out there in that arena and go play, right?
Yeah. How many of those guys do you think will play?
Oh, young guys?
Yeah.
6 to 7, easy, right now. And I think the more they continue to play, the more confidence they gain, which is a good thing. So we'll see, but you listen to your eyes as a coach. Just go to practice, listen to your eyes every day. Eyes don't lie. If the same guys keep showing up good, you go, something about that guy. He just keeps showing up, right? You can't deny it. And I think some of the players realize it too. It's kind of like, oh, who's that guy? So it's interesting.
Coach, now that school started again, what do you got to do to keep a good balance?
Well, they got to get back on that routine, and we kind of flipped it. Today was the day, and I said, okay, now you go back on campus. You got to go to class. You got to do where you're supposed to be. Out of distractions all of a sudden when you go on campus, right? Good distractions, by the way. And you got to handle all that. You have to. I can remember when, especially the freshman guys, I remember coming out of high school and, kind of go to summer camp. I'm at Cal Berkeley and practice was at 3 o'clock and I go to some classes and at noon I'm kind of walking across campus and I'm going, wow, this is interesting. This is kind of interesting, right? And so that's what you go through, and it's just kind of like, before you know it, you're sitting down and you're kind of looking and you lose the time of the day. It's like, oh, I got to go to practice, but this is really interesting, right? And then you figure it out, and there'll be some guys running around like that, smiling and not knowing what to do, But the good part is we practiced already. See, we practice in the evening. We practice like after class, right? These guys are going before, so. But a lot of things happen today.
You were talking about the other levels of the defense. Can you talk about linebacker a little bit? And,
yeah.
You got Robertson and Lambert there, plus the returning guys. How do you feel just collectively about what you're seeing?
Well, we moved Tyler over there. You saw that
Tyler
41,
Johnson,
right? Yeah,
yeah.
Tyler Johnson. So he's a part of that group too. We've got some guys, that play the linebacker position right now. Some veteran guys, we know who they are. But the young guys, Stanley, Merlin, Butler, they're showing up. They're showing up every day. They keep showing up, and that's a good thing. So I think with those guys, there's an infusion of some athletic players there, and how do we structure that? That's what we're dealing with. How do we get the best guys and give them opportunities to make plays for us? And I think that's what's great about when you start planning for an opponent, because then you kind of look at the opponent and go, okay, this is what they do. This is how they play their offense. What are the matchups that we think we can take advantage of with athletes? And so that's what we have to do. But we got some guys all of a sudden that are pretty good.
Tyler Johnson gives you a big guy there. Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, another rush guy to come off the edge. Crump hasn't participated as much as we like yet. Slade is down too. We didn't mention those two guys.
Right.
So there's a bunch of guys. Robinson, you guys have seen him. Lambert, 17. I keep saying he keeps showing up. And so you got a crew of guys that can come off the edge. And our defense is a defense, and you guys have been in enough practices. It doesn't sit still. There's a lot of moving parts. So you got to have speed. And we've infused it with some guys that can run. Now we just got to help them and make sure we're not asking them to do too much, too early, and play with those guys.